Hey, what's up? What's going on? Could you guys please subscribe to my channel and like the video? It would be greatly appreciated. Well, we're going to be talking about Shots Fired. It comes on Fox. It's season 1, episode 1. They have a lot of heavy hitters in this show. You got Sanaa Lathan, you got Mac Wiles, you got Jill Hennessy, you have DeWanda Wise from like True Blood and all the other shows that she participated on. You got Will Patterson, you have Stephen James, you have Helen Hunt, and a few more people. So, but basically, it was okay. The first episode was okay. We'll talk about the characters. Ashley is a detective, which is Sanaa Lathan. She's a investigator for the U.S. government, and she is one of their best investigators. And she's been through a lot. She has a daughter with this guy. It didn't work out between them. He has full custody because he's more stable, because she travels a lot and she's always on the road because she works for the U.S. government, and she goes to different cities and states and do investigations, sometimes different countries. But the baby's father is going to file. He's also Latino. The baby father also is going to file for full custody, saying that she's an unfit mother. And like the first scene with her and her daughter's beautiful. They have Venus Williams' picture on the wall. I thought that was neat. And the girlfriend of the baby's father comes in the room where Ashley, the investigator, is playing with her daughter, because Ashley's actually visiting her daughter because she's about to leave to go to North Carolina. So anyways, when that happens, the girlfriend says, "It's time for you to go to bed," to the little girl, and the mother was like, "No, not now, because I want to spend a little bit more time." And then the girlfriend says to her, "Listen, you don't have to work this little brat up early in the morning, and she's a pain to get up." And then the little girl, "Because I'm not that tired." So Detective Ashley puts the daughter to bed, and then she throws a vase at the girlfriend. She goes, "You lucky I don't give you a hysterectomy with this vase," basically. And so then the father comes home, and he escort Ashley out the house. And then from there, they still have a little bit of chemistry going on, but he's kind of basically moved forward. And so you have Preston Terry. He is the U.S. District Attorney, and they get him because he's black, and he used to play pro baseball, but he ended up quitting because he wanted to change the world with the law and use the law to protect people and help people, blase and the third. And so they picked him because they need a black face, basically, to go to North Carolina and find out, because it was a cop shooting. A cop shot an unarmed man, white man, teenager, and not teenager, but college student, basically. So the governor is asking for, the governor of North Carolina is asking for a review and an investigation into the North Carolina Police Department, basically. And the governor is none other than Helen Hunt. So anyways, so now you get to the scene where this deputy cop, Deputy Josh Beck, which is Mac Wiles, he shoots an unarmed Caucasian male college student. And basically, the governor is calling for an investigation to make sure, that there was nothing dirty done behind the scenes, basically, and was it a okay shooting. But to bring a black investigator and a black district attorney, prosecutor, whatever, it makes it look a lot better. It's more easier for people to digest, basically. So basically, Preston Terry meets up with Ashley Akins, which is, the U.S. investigator, and she's skilled. They meet up. They get off to a rocky start. They go back and forth. They kind of really don't like each other, but then they finally do get along. So anyways, so now they go to interview Mac Wiles, which is Deputy Josh Beck. And basically, he doesn't identify with Preston Terry at all, but he ends up identifying with Ashley Akins, the investigator, and she tells a story that she shot somebody that was unarmed, and she shot somebody because the other cop that was with her said that look how he got a gun, and he didn't have a gun. He was actually reaching for his cell phone. So basically, So then the deputy Josh Beck that's being interviewed in the interrogation room, he opens up, and then Preston Terry says some things, asks him really lawyer kind of questions, and so then Josh Beck, he just says, I just want my union representative, basically. So now the community's going wild. So Preston meets the governor. They give a big press speech or whatever, and Preston Terry does a wonderful job getting the community on his side, getting people to believe in him. So anyways, they go to the crime scene, and the sheriff says it's not a crime scene, because only way it could be a crime scene if there's a crime that has been committed, basically. And then Preston Terry said, yeah, you're right. So then the neighbors are outside, or people in the community, and there's one kid on the bike. He has on Preston Terry's brother's jersey, but Preston's brother is a major football player. He's in the league, and kids are wearing his jersey in the hood. So anyways, this kid was telling Preston he's not asking the right questions, because Preston tells him, oh, that jersey you got on, that's my brother, you want to meet him, basically trying to bribe the kid to get information. Kid says you're not asking him the right questions, and no one's talking to the police. And then the cops show up on the scene, and then everybody skeets, everybody bounce. And investigator Ashley Akins said, who are the cops trying to scare, us or the neighborhood? So basically, Preston ends up talking to this boy. His name is Derek, that has on his brother's jersey, and he goes out by himself without his backup, which is Ashley Akins, and the boy is always on a bike. So the boy leads him to the houses. Go to the houses. The houses is where he will find the information that he needs to find. But so Preston goes towards the houses. He gets beat up, blase in a third. Then the next day he returns with the investigator Ashley Akins, and he was like, I don't want to go back out there, I'm scared or whatever. But she was like, I got a gun, fool. So anyway, they interview Mrs. Campbell. Mrs. Campbell is DeWanda Wise from True Blood or whatever. So, and she looks totally different. I don't know how they be doing this, because on True Blood she looks a wreck. So anyways, she was like, oh, I see all this press about this young white boy getting killed, but there's no press about my son getting killed. So basically, it's like reverse racism. It's a black cop shooting a white guy, basically. And, the black people don't get justice, basically. They don't get any justice. And we see that all the time, especially in Washington, D.C., with all these women disappearing, and they're saying these ladies are runaways. It's like, okay, we heard this a million times, because there's been stories about plenty serial killers that got away with it for so long because the police didn't want to investigate because they were black or Spanish, basically. So anyways, back to shots fired. They get some information out of her. So basically, and it was like, the cop said there was weed on him, and that's the same thing that that's the same thing the cop said about Deputy Josh Beck, that he had weed on him, basically. So Josh Beck tells them that he pulled the guy over because he was in a black neighborhood. And basically, usually when you see white people and in the hood like that and nice cars, they either buying drugs basically. And so, you know, Preston was like, so did you find any drugs? We found a bag of weed. And that's the same thing at camp. They told Campbell's mom that they found a bag of weed. So basically, it looks like the cops they have like a squad of cops that terrorize the community, the neighborhood. They wear all black. You can't tell if they're cops or not, or they could be gang members in the neighborhood. But basically, people are being terrified, scared straight not to snitch or talk to anybody. And basically, it takes place in North Carolina, back in the deep woods. A lot of racism, where they say "boy" as the line of the blue wall. So basically, you know, the investigator Ashley, she hooks up with Preston's brother, the football player, and Preston hooks up with the governor's assistant. So, but back to Mrs. Campbell telling about her son being murdered, and the cops told her that she better not say anything. She better not file a report. If she says anything to the media, or if she files any reports, they're gonna come and take her other son away. And basically, she was threatened. And, you know, the investigator Ashley is like, yo, we got to look into this. And Preston said one thing at a time. And then, you know, the investigator is like, this is going to lead us to if this was a justified shooting or not. So basically, the first episode was pretty decent, pretty good. You know, they interviewed Jill Hennessy, which she is the mother of the young white boy that was killed. Then there's a priest, there's a pastor, and she, you know, she's in the mix. Like, she gathers the community listens to her. You know, she has her side of her hair shaved. She has like this big thing and these big earrings or whatever, and really different. And she brings the Campbells and Alicia Carr together, which is Genesee Hill, is the mother of the young boy that was murdered or whatever by the cop. She does a press conference at her church. They hug, whatever, and they're trying to get answers for both of the slaying victims. So basically, it's getting hot in here. It's heating up. And it looks like a pretty decent storyline. It looks like it's going to get very interesting. So basically, it's dealing with race, reverse racism, all the unsolved murders of black young males, police brutality, mishandling, suspects, and all that stuff, and the blue wall, and old racism from the South, but in more of a new age type of look, like now. And then also, Deputy Josh Beck, which is Mac Wiles, when he first got to become deputy, he was at a party and he was drinking, and someone put a camera on him, and he holds the badge in his hand like this, and he goes, now I got a license to kill these crackers. So now it looks so bad for him now, and now the people at the police department his co-workers don't want to be bothered with him now. So it's like, it's heating up. Mac Wiles is actually married to a black woman. Preston, the district attorney, U.S. attorney, whatever, he hooks up with the governor's assistant, which is Caucasian. So now you got mixed races, and then you got investigator Ashley, which is Sanaa Lathan. She has a baby by a Latino man. So there's a lot of different things going on, a lot of different aspects they're touching. And, you know, when they talk about the houses, that's like a real bad place in North Carolina where everyone's scared to go to. And they call it like a zoo. Just a horrible place basically, but it was built and made to be that way. So we're gonna see how they're gonna touch on all these touchy subjects and how they display them to us, the public. And it seems interesting, and they do have heavy hitters. They do have good actors, and the acting seems so real, so like, okay, it's believable. So, and they're acting very well. So, um this is Shots Fired review recap. Please subscribe, like the video, and give me your thoughts on it. This is season 1, episode 1. Holla.